I was pushing my button. Usually. Stanley City Council, special meeting Tuesday, October 29th, 2024 at 4:30 PM. First thing, can we all say the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, the first thing on the agenda is a special event liquor license that's in front of you. For Kim Reynolds and R&H Incorporated at Five Spot Bar. It's for Ag Improvement Fall Banquet. Tara Uran was the one that was a coordinator for it. Can I get okay?
Just a note to make, this will be held at the South Complex.
Right.
Okay, sorry, Chad, you motioned. Jesse, okay, thank you.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, on to the next thing and final thing. City properties at the John Ryan edition. In front of you are, or is that what the lawyer come up with for the checklist? Reason for this meeting is basically to approve this checklist and any additions or corrections that we might see on it. So it's open for comment. Well, you can ask anything you want.
Well, yeah. You do what you gotta do.
I tell you what, I would like you to do. Amanda, would you please go up to the podium and let's go through it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way through, read it out. We're gonna talk about each one. No,
So why do we gotta go through this like that? I can't we
Well-
just agree on what needs to be in the paper and have this at our normal.
well, I just thought if she could read through it really quick, then if anyone's got anything to say, she can move on to number 2. To take as long as to what it does to read the paper. Read the paper.
Okay, the property will be sold at auction to the highest bidder. Upon award of the bid to the highest bidder, cash or check must be deposited immediately with the Stanley City Auditor. Seller and high bidder shall enter into a contract for deed wherein the purchaser must agree to certain terms and conditions in order to receive title to the property. See below terms and conditions. Any questions of a legal nature should be discussed with an attorney. The seller does not warrant title.
If no one speaks up, just go ahead.
The descriptions provided are based on the official records of the Montrose County Recorder's Office and are presumed to be correct. Indy state law requires all bidders to qualify by completing an affidavit certifying that you have no previous or current delinquent property taxes in any North Dakota county. No individual, corporate entity, beneficial owner, agent, or employee of a corporate entity having delinquent property taxes at any time may qualify to place a bid. Prospective purchasers are urged to examine the title, location, and desirability of the property available to their own satisfaction prior to the sale. The seller makes no guarantee, expressed or implied, relative to the title, location, or condition of the properties for sale. The seller assumes no liability for any other possible liens, encumbrances, or easements recorded or not recorded.
if having delinquent taxes, it should just automatically disqualify you.
If you've ever had,
Right, but that's not what it says.
yeah. We
It
probably
says
do make that,
anytime that-
yeah, I think that probably should be changed as well, that,
Or at least ask a question. You got highlighters that you can highlight.
Oh, but, okay, so which number?
In
3.
Line 3. Last sentence in that paragraph that says may qualify to place a bid, and I think it should say. Having delinquent property taxes of any kind. Disqualifies.
Now, after we change this, it's got to go back to the attorney then.
Yeah, I'll just send an email to the attorneys in the morning and they'll make the changes or make comments and send it back.
Just so I understand that. So like if you've ever been delinquent on property taxes, it disqualifies you. It doesn't matter if you're brought up to date. Gotcha.
How are we checking that, by the way?
Okay, sorry, just because I read a lot of contracts and agreements. If you actually see the beginning of the sentence says, no individual. So they're saying that no, they would not qualify.
No one may
Understand?
qualify. So yeah, it's correct.
It's just the way it's worded, but it is saying they would not. No, no individual corporate entity, beneficial owner, agent, or employee having obviously having delinquent property taxes at any time may qualify to place a bid. So they're saying no individual.
Right.
Sorry, it's just the way it's
Right.
the legal verbiage of it. Yep.
number
Sorry.
4, on number 4, the seller assumes no liability for any other possible liens, encumbrances, or easements recorded or not recorded. There should be nothing against that property after we got that back from the state, right?
There should not be, but I suppose they put it in there just to ensure there was nothing. But as far as I know, there should not be any liens.
Because who's gonna ever even want to bid on it if you thought maybe there could be a lien against it or anything like that? I wouldn't. Okay, Amanda,
Sorry. Number 5, the seller shall, at its own expense, undertake a replatting of the property's boundary lines to ensure that the existing structures and fixtures encroaching on lots 28 and 30 of replat of John Ryan Addition Phase 1, Stanley City, which is owned by the city of Stanley, are added to lot 29. The replatting process will adjust the boundary lines where necessary to bring the structure into compliance with applicable zoning and setback requirements. However, if the successful purchaser desires an independent survey of the property, it will be at the purchaser's own initiative and expense. The seller makes no warranty, either express or implied, relative to the usability, the ground location, or property lines of the property. The prospective purchaser must determine the exact location, desirability, and usefulness of the property. Good. Prospective bidders are advised that some assessments which are levied by agencies or offices other than the seller may still be outstanding. In addition, the IRS has the option of redeeming up until 120 days after the sale any property on which there is an IRS lien recorded. I don't know if there is or not. Are we privy to that information? Even at the county level? Yeah,
well, nobody's gonna want to bid on that with those,
I'm going with it for a year.
and they've not come after us.
yeah.
I'm wondering if it's one of those things where they just put it in there just in case. Legal. Number 7, the sale of this property should not in any way be equated to real estate sales by licensed salesmen, brokers, or realtors. The city of Stanley cannot guarantee the condition of the property nor assume any responsibility for conformance to codes, permits, or zoning ordinances. Prospective purchasers are encouraged to inspect the property before investing. The burden is on the purchaser to thoroughly research before the sale any matters relevant to his or her decision to purchase. Your bid is an irrevocable offer to purchase the asset. And then number 8 basically says, to inspect the property, you must contact me.
Okay,
Number 9, successful bidder shall state in writing the names and addresses in which the quit claim deed shall be issued. Note that the property will be deeded in the name of the bidder unless the bidder has written, signed permission from another party to record the deed in their name. A copy of the deed will be mailed to the purchaser after it is signed by the mayor of the city of Stanley. The Montreal County Recorder will send the original deed to the owner after recording is completed. Upon delivery of the deed, the property becomes taxable to the purchaser for the tax year in which delivery of the deed occurs. The property being auctioned is an unfinished apartment building. The purchaser, by submitting his or her bid, must agree to complete all necessary work on the apartment building to have in place a certificate of occupancy issued by the seller within 1 1/2 years from the date the bid is awarded. This time frame can be extended by a written agreement signed by both parties. The purchaser agrees to ensure that all renovations, repairs, or improvements comply with all applicable state and local building codes, zoning regulations, health and safety requirements, and occupancy standards. The purchaser must obtain all necessary permits, inspections, and certifications as required by law to confirm the building is suitable for residential use. Upon awarding the bid, the seller will enter into a contract for deed with the purchaser. The terms of the contract for deed shall include but shall not be limited to the following obligations of the purchaser. The purchaser must complete the required work and obtain a certificate of occupancy from the seller within 1 1/2 years of the contract for deed being executed. If an alternate timeline is agreed upon, the new deadline must be specified in writing and signed by both parties. My fingers aren't working. Upon completion of the required work and the certificate of occupancy issued by the seller, the purchaser will receive a quitclaim deed transferring full ownership of the property. The quitclaim deed shall be issued once the seller confirms that all conditions of the contract for deed have been satisfied. If the purchaser fails to meet the requirements of the contract for deed within the designated timeframe or other mutually agreed upon date in writing, the seller reserves the right to terminate the contract for deed. In the event of termination, the purchaser will forfeit any rights to the property, and the seller may retain any funds already paid under the contract for deed as liquidated damages. The seller will have the right to inspect the property periodically during the 1 1/2 year period to ensure compliance within the terms of the contract for deed. The purchaser must provide the seller with reasonable access to the property and submit documentation, permits, and inspection reports as requested. The bids must be submitted to the city auditor's office by 4 p.m. Is that the November 14th date that we talked about?
Well, yeah, and that you'll see in the public notice that will be put in the paper. I guess Amanda and I, because it has to be published 3 weeks. So that if we would have published, it would have gone into the paper this week. The 13th would have been the last day, so we did the day after. So now that we're be a week later, so are we just gonna, so we want to do? Oh, cooperate here.
7 days. 21.
So yeah, the 20th would be the last publication date. So if we want to do the 21st, but I guess the other question is, do we want to mention anything about when the bid opening is going to be, or are we just going to do the bid opening at the next regular meeting? Or I mean, just to announce the award, I
The
guess
bid
I should
needs to be on
say.
the 21st, so you've got from the.
But I mean, I think
21st.
they do have the option to be here when you open the bids? The same day?
Yeah.
Well, shortly after 4, if we do 4 o'clock, we could open them.
Okay.
Okay,
And then who do you want to do the bid opening?
We will.
The council? Okay, so then we'll need to.
We'll
set
have a special meeting on that day.
Okay. And then the city of Stanley reserves the right to reject any and all bids. And that's all.
I don't have any additions to that. My main thing was in there, a couple of things. Once they're held to the fire basically on their dates as far as completing this and making it, getting a certificate of occupancy. The other thing is there is nothing turned over to them until that, at that time. The other thing is nobody can you can't just bid on it, given the fact that, if you've had delinquent taxes or something like that. We do know several. The past owner did have delinquent taxes. At that point, they could not submit a bid for this property.
How do we check that though? I mean, we don't really have a way to say, oh, Joe Blow down the road didn't pay his taxes 7 years ago and now he's current. Bid under that.
I don't know that you can make it so watertight, but make sure that the saving grace is back end that says we can,
Exactly.
so.
And at that,
Okay, so you wanted to go and go in the.
any
paper
other
and-
discussion?
I just have a quick note. So when I talked to Ryan this morning, he just wanted me to make, in case anybody had any questions, why they had in here about a contract for deed. He just wanted me to mention that obviously that is if they don't meet the requirements and the timeline, that it will automatically come back to the city.
And that's what I figured.
Yeah, okay, so
Exactly.
just, I thought I'd mention that in case anybody,
Because naturally, I mean, if the bid does go for $1, and they're gonna pay that, and the property would be theirs without that statement in there, basically.
Right.
The property doesn't turn over until we're satisfied.
Does it need to say in here anywhere about the dangerous building process?
That's the only thing that was in there, and I had Ryan put that in there, was if they want to go and view it, it said it was up to them to do that. They can't be on that property without me because it is still considered a dangerous building, which kind of freaked Ryan out. He was like, should there be people on site? And I'm like, well, they can. They just have to understand that, like, you can't just go wander around in there. That's not what, because according to our ordinances, you can't. And I don't want us to break rules accidentally, because we've told them, oh, just go look at it. So
Do you take medicine for that?
to accidentally break rules.
To stress out over that?
If I'm gonna be the one that's blamed for it, yeah,
We're definitely gonna blame you.
then yes, I would.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Alright,
Opposed, same sign. Thank you, Amanda. You did a
Thank
very good
you.
job. Meeting adjourned.
We're just gonna, it's theirs,
Huh?
but all the stuff that's in them garages and stuff, just let whoever buys it, take
I
it.
think so. It's all for that. And as far as the tools in there, the quality of the tools and stuff, it's junk. So I don't see a lot of value there. I mean, I got better tools that I'll let somebody come and steal out of my shop.
No, I'm just asking the cabinets of the project, not the upcoming project, you know.
Right.
we're not in business of having garage sales. No.
So if they wanna, what you're saying is if they wanna buy it for $1, And then go out there and they can look it over and think, you know, maybe it's not worth what we're gonna spend this. But we have all this merchandise here, let's just get rid of it to make money on it. So they give it back to us, cause they have $1 invested, but they make all this extra money on those items inside that. You think that's all right? Yeah, they do.
They don't know anything
No.
until it's completed. Right.
No.
It's,
So, are they gonna come every meeting and give us an update? I think they should come every meeting, give us an update, the progress of that building plan.
I don't think whoever bought it, I don't think they'd ever object to that.
I mean, why aren't we entitled to it since we still own it for $1?
Yeah,
They're only to be here once a month and give me an update, what's going on. I think we have that right.
but that's exactly, that's exactly Amanda's job.
What?
You know, I mean, isn't it, Amanda? Well, that's another thing is when we do, when we do get a bidder, the first thing I'm gonna ask you guys is, I don't think it's right to put 1.5 years on something like that. I don't think it's reasonable personally on, you know, 1.5 years from May maybe, or June. Then I think that would be probably all right.
Yeah, that's baked in the contract already. 'cause
Well,
there's
we can-
provision to both parties.
We can extend that at any time.
Okay, yeah.
So, I just as soon show it 1.5 years, telling them that we want to get this done, but we can always extend it.
I'm all right with that, but
That's where.
all I'm saying is during the winter months, how much construction can you actually do?
It's not our problem, huh?
No, I know, but
You're right. But this is only a small bill. Fill in the windows, small bill. Well, that's
How
not.
far is it? How far is it from being complete or? My best guess is it's probably 75%.
I'd say 75.
Other than some stuff's gonna be.
Right, windows gotta be replaced.
There's windows and doors and there's railings and stuff like that that have to be done. Wiring.
Probably gonna run into some plumbing issues, I guess.
The first thing they're gonna wanna do is close it in. So, you know, it can't get any more animals or damage or,
Split unit, addition and heater. In just about every one of them, wired in.
yeah, but that's
I
nothing.
mean, they can replace each one of them, half hour for each one. Electrician,
I mean, to me, 1.5 years, if we have to extend it, great, but I don't see that being a problem. I think.
We're gonna know, like Kirk says, we're gonna know if they're making progress and if they intend to do a good job on this. We're gonna know that after a while, so. Exactly.
There it is.
who's gonna take this?
I think it's more about. That's been.
Well, we're adjourned.